up, y'all? How y'all doing today? It's your host, Jay Shepard. We're back. We've been sick, but we're back in action. If y'all know what that means, y'all know what that means. If you don't know what it means, that means wear a mask. Today, we're obviously 6 feet apart. Got my mask over here. It is what it is. We're safe, though. We're good, though. We're healthy now. We're living life. We're breathing air. We're doing everything we're doing. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment to the YouTube. And today, here we have talent. We have business today. We have entrepreneur. We have vision. Vision is just like the key thing. Like, if you got a dream, you got a goal, you just got to see it through. I know everybody's quote unquote manifesting, manifesting now. But you know, whatever you got to do to get your dreams to come true. Right now, we have here the lovely Shelby Stewart. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm chilling, blessed, highly favored, a little tired, a little hungry, but it's okay.
It's all right.
We making it through. We making it through. So now, I would start off and ask you typical questions over, like how you started your things. But I'm a inch my way into talking about your business. First things, since we're both from Houston, let's just start it off and saying which one was more of a Houston figure, Paul Walt's Grill or Mike Jones Do-Rag?
I'm gonna give it to Paul Wall's Grill.
I was going with the do-rag. I was going with the do-rag. You know why?
Why?
You know how many like Mike Jones, you smell like Mike Jones do-rag jokes came from like elementary all the way to.
See, I get that part of it, but I guess I'm thinking just on a certain level, like.
Oh, you talking about level? Then yeah, the grill, but like locally.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the do-rag. Yeah.
What you talking about? You smell like Mike Jones do-rag. But now, okay, the reason why I had to start off with a little Houston joke is because Shelby over here is doing not the unthinkable, but I guess no one else had the idea besides her, is to have a Houston hip-hop museum. So if we had an audience here, I would say make some noise. I'm going to make some noise for her right here. And so I'm guessing just, I gotta ask something that so the people know, basic. So, where did you come up with the idea for the museum?
This is funny. So I came up with the idea in graduate school. So I pursued my master's at University of Houston, and one day I was just in class, and I was talking to some of my peers, and I was just like, it'd be really dope if Houston had a hip-hop museum. And I was kind of shocked that Houston didn't already have one, because you heard of the Trap Museum in Atlanta, and South Bronx is getting the Universal Hip Hop Museum. So I think I thought and still think that it's really important that Houston has one. So from there, everybody was kind of like, who better to do it than you? And I was just like, me, like why would I ever like create a museum, because that's just not the type of person I am. Like offline, like you know me, like it's just music, journalism, that's it. And I never thought that I'd be the person to like create or curate a museum, but I guess here I am. So
I mean, that's dope though, because like the other dude said, or whoever told you, is somebody got to do it. Why not be you? So I feel like you're the perfect person for the job. But then now I gotta ask like my brown sugar question. So like, when did you fall in love with hip hop?
Probably back in middle school. I can't really attribute it to my parents because they're not big fans of hip hop, but from the music that they listen to, R&B and jazz and stuff, I kind of developed my own taste in music from there, and it kind of develops. But a lot of BET Uncut, a lot of 106 and Park, a lot of MTV, TRL, like all of that stuff kind of put me in that musical space. And from there, that's when I kind of knew that like hip hop specifically is what I wanted to do. And I didn't know how exactly I wanted to fit it into my life or my career, but I'm doing it now.
I feel that. Who, like locally, because obviously we're both from the same city. If you don't know where we're located, Houston, Texas, right here. I think that's made obvious now. on the hoodie, the vernacular, how it's talking. Yeah. So, but who locally, I guess, did you grow up and was like, grow up listening to, in a sense, like that just stuck to you?
Probably Mike Jones, but it's because
who?
Okay, Mike Jones. But if anything, I think of all of the artists to come out of Houston. I think Mike Jones was probably the one who was like super, super tied to his roots. Like you could go to the gas station and see Mike Jones. So that just kind of stuck to me. Lil Flip too, but Mike Jones for sure just stuck with me like for a lot of my younger years. I was just like, okay, like that's it.
Both of those had their big eras in the city, obviously enough that their contributions were tremendous. One from the do-rag era with Mike Jones, and two, Lil Flip had the people rocking the Lil Flip braids for a minute, you know. But, you know, some people didn't have the hang time to keep.
Some people still don't, but, you know, that's a conversation for another time.
It's a conversation for another time. But I think that's great, though, that, like, I guess from, like, you've been able to, like, take part of your childhood with what you know and what you love, mix that all together and to put it into your business.
Yeah.
And so it's one thing to say, oh, I'm gonna do a museum, a hip hop museum in Houston. How did you start building the steps to like, okay, the idea's here. How does this happen? Like, who do you contact?
Yeah, bringing it from like idea to execution was actually really hard because like once I felt like the idea was placed on my heart, I was like, okay, I really want to do it, but I don't know how to do it. Like, I'm 23, I didn't know how to build a museum, and I'm still like just taking it step by step, day by day. But like a lot of the logistics and the paperwork, I had to contact a lawyer. A few people in the city who were really willing to help me. Like they knew my idea, they knew exactly what I wanted to do, and they helped me like get there. So it was a lot of paperwork, it was a lot of filing. I had to wait to hear back from a lot of people government-wise. So like I had to wait to hear back from the IRS, from the Secretary of State, a lot of that. But it was really important to me that I had all of my paperwork done on the back end, so I could actually say that it was legitimate when I finally decided to make the statement like, hey, I'm actually building a hip hop museum. So just, I don't know, building the brand behind the scenes before I really made that statement to say it was what was really important to me, because I feel like a lot of people have like a lot of good ideas, a lot of good businesses, but the execution isn't always there, and I really didn't want that to be me. Like I held on to this for like a year and a half before I started really telling people that it's what I was doing, because I wanted it to be right. Like I didn't want people to have any reason to question like this is what I'm doing, or like have any questions for me about what I was doing or how it looks. So yeah.
I feel that that's one of those things that you have to make sure everything fell into line.
Yeah, exactly.
And so like when you got to announce it, obviously enough, we've been cool before, like you made the announcement and everything like that. Yeah. So I remember the night that you tweeted, "Hey, I'm about to I'm doing a hip hop museum in Houston," and the reactions, it wasn't like, you know how some people be like, "She cap," or "She's playing," or "She's lying." It was like
it went viral overnight. It's crazy because the tweet itself went viral, but then the museum went viral too. And then Say Cheese TV posted it on their page. Like, honestly, to this day, that's still probably the wildest day of my life. Like, I had like major artists reach out to me like via DM that day, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, it's still like crazy to me that all of that happened, but I guess I can only put that on God's timing, because had I tweeted it that day at that moment, it might not have.
And then when I say that tweet popped, I don't know the exact number or what it ended at, but I
think it hit like 100,000. I thought
it hit more.
I don't know how many retweets, but I think like the likes hit like 100,000. It was a lot. It was a lot. Like my phone was frozen. Like I had to just like log out of Twitter.
You just put it down to the side for a little minute.
Yeah, it's really funny because like overnight, like it's crazy because me and my boyfriend, we were watching. We were just watching it build. Like it was crazy just watching like the numbers grow, because like minute by minute, hour by hour, the tweets kept, well, not the tweets, the follower count just kept going up. Like, it just kept going. And I was just like, when is this gonna stop? And it never did. And the next day, I was over my boyfriend. He tells me, he was like, Say Cheese just posted you. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, because I think I was just sitting at my computer. I had started getting a whole bunch of emails, a whole bunch of like phone calls, DMs, all this, and I was trying to answer it all because it was all so overwhelming. And he was like, Say Cheese posted you. I was like, you mean like Say Cheese? And he was like, yeah. And like, people just flooded me that day since then. So, and it hasn't really stopped, but you know.
No. Is it like something you're adjusting, getting used to, like talking to different people, being in a few more rooms that you weren't in beforehand?
Yeah.
Discussions.
See, it's interesting because before like the museum, before all that, I felt like I was plugged in the city.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm even more plugged in now, and I'm like, I didn't even think this was possible. But it is weird, kind of like having to talk to a lot of people every day, people asking for interviews and wanting to talk to me. But I don't mind it. For the most part, being completely honest and transparent, I want to give like all black journalists the opportunity before anybody else, because who better to tell my story than me? I mean, well, than we rather.
Us.
But
Right.
but yeah, no, I think it's really important to give black writers, black creatives that opportunity. So it's been really nice. If any, for the most part, I can say all black journalists have been like hearing my story and telling it for themselves.
I feel. How many people besides myself has asked for a spot in the museum? And I do say besides myself because I definitely asked.
Honestly, it's been a whole lot of people to ask. Honestly, I don't even want to tell you on air like the stuff like I've heard from people like.
I don't know. You ain't gotta. We afterwards.
Yeah, I was gonna say
We'll
that's
wrap
a
afterwards.
conversation for offline. But you could like after Say Cheese posted the thing, people started asking me like in my comments like, "Hey, can I be in the museum?" And I was just like,
It's almost like for what?
I was just like, "Who are y'all?" It was weird, but a lot of people have asked, and it's a big no for a lot of people.
Look, all I said was all I want is the back room corner for 5 years down the line. That's all I'm needing. My little section. I'm gonna put this little. By the time that happens, this camera's gonna be a dinosaur. Just put that camera up, get a picture of me, my logo, but boom, there we go.
But yeah, no, it's been a lot of like interesting people to ask like if they could be in the museum or how to get in the museum, but I don't have a response for them just yet on how.
I mean, yeah, because it's your brand. You gotta protect your brand.
Of course.
And it's kind of like, you know, when you're an owner of something, you know, you CEO over this thing. It's like your baby, and it's just kind of like you trying to protect your baby.
It's super weird. Like I wouldn't use the word paranoid, but like I'm very cautious with people now, like especially like as it pertains to the brand, because I never want anything to happen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then also like outside of like the museum being a brand of its own, like my name is attached to it. Like my name is on all of these documents. So the moment something goes wrong, people gonna be looking at me. So
Right.
I'm just very careful with how I let people into it,
Mm-hmm.
because I want it to be something that, you know, like everybody can enjoy, but I also like I still have to be very, very careful with how I handle it. So that's another thing.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where I think with time and adjustments,
Right.
it'll happen. You'll get more used to it, obviously enough, and it's gonna be interesting though when like the doors open to the museum. I feel like that's gonna be like your best day, and then that day after is gonna be the day it's like, okay, now it's a little, you know.
Yeah. Honestly, like I can still visualize that opening day in my mind, and I think that's good because I still have that end goal in mind. But
All right, so the other question I did have for you was that I did see recently that, you know, you had a conversation with a very well-known Houstonian. I think his name goes by Paul Wall. You know, I think we call him the People's Champ.
yeah, I did talk to Paul Wall on Instagram Live a few weeks ago.
How was that? Gotta let the people know, people who don't.
It was really good. Paul Wall was really cool, really chill. It's funny because he had like ordered a pizza or something that day while he was on live, but he was real cool, real down to earth. We talked about a lot of stuff, his career in the music industry and a lot of other stuff like that. But and he really supports the museum, so it's nice to have somebody like that backing.
You know he has to put a grill in there, right?
I told him that that's what I wanted, so and he said he was gonna help me get one. So I actually told him I wanted like the very first one that he made to be in the museum, and he said yes. So we'll see. But yeah, no, it's a goal of mine. I want.
So does he like collect? I'm assuming he keeps all the ones he's had, but like you gotta understand that's like a long time for grills. Like
I can't tell you exactly, but his manager has told me he has a lot.
That's crazy. That's dope though. Like, how's it been like having these conversations with like on air and off of with people that you kind of grew up either listening to or peeping in the city?
It's been weird. It's been really cool being able to talk to them, but I'm not gonna say like I'm fangirling or anything like that because they're very down to earth, but it's more so like this is really happening. Like I'm on the phone with Lil Flip's manager, or like I'm on the phone talking to so and so. Like it's just crazy seeing that this is my life now. Like it's interesting like seeing myself enter this space along with these people that I kind of like grew up listening to. So
That's dope. That's dope. And who would I would be to forget this question? I ask this question to everybody on TalentedOnes, so you are no different, Shelby. So with the museum, with your business, with your vernacular, you're doing great. We're rooting for you. We're rooting for everybody black. You know, we out here. You're doing great things. So, question I ask everybody on TalentedOnes is, like, how do you feel right now on your journey, or do you kind of like, I love this little journey, but I kind of just like, I'm more of a destination person. So I guess my question would be, which one do you prefer, like your journey that you're on right now, or getting to the destination, which might be the opening or whatever you perceive?
I'm gonna give you a bit of a long answer. I think I used to be.
I got time.
I think I used to be a destination person, but over the last 3 or 4 months, I definitely became like a journey person. Just enjoying and being present in the space that I'm in right now. Like it's important to like look at myself and look back on the things that I've done and be able to tell myself like, yeah, I did that. Like I still, like I'm getting more accustomed to embracing that part of like just embracing the journey overall, because even now I'm just like, I went on live with Paul Wall. Like everybody can't say that.
People share.
Yeah, like it's a lot of stuff that I'm really just like, you did that, and you should really like give yourself a pat on the back for that. So I'm really like